Hello, folks. I'm delighted to be right back here on the JMA Connections. I actually promised that at this hour, we're going to be having our interview with Eric Chinje, who is a member of the very close team of Issa Tchiroma Bakari, the president-elect of the Republic of Cameroon. And recall that in my broadcast earlier this morning, I said that, of course, Cameroon officially has two presidents, and you might have seen it as a joke. But I mean, this is coming to reality. And so you've definitely already gotten wind of the breaking news that Issa Tchiroma Bakari has started rolling out the appointments. He has started putting together his cabinet, and the first such appointment is the appointment of a spokesperson. And that appointment has not just come as a social media post. It is a formal decree, and that will be the first decree, the first presidential decree signed by Issa Tchiroma Bakari, officially naming renowned woman of law, renowned barrister, and she's also a renowned human rights activist, Alice Nkom. So Alice Nkom, the Douala-based lawyer, is now officially the spokesperson of the government of Cameroon, led by President-elect Issa Tchiroma Bakari. At this point, Issa Tchiroma Bakari has taken a step. That he's gone one notch ahead of Mr. Paul Biya, who is swimming in some kind of legality, as I said, with Issa Chiruma swimming in legitimacy. And so Alice Nkom, she's a very fearless woman. Of course, she's been very vocal. You recall she is one of those who came and kept making clear that Issa Chiruma Bakari, of course, would take the oath of office, and Issa Chiruma Bakari was not going to back down, and that Issa Chiruma Bakari would assume the presidency and assume the responsibility entrusted on him by the people of Cameroon. So with this decree, Issa Chiruma Bakari makes clear his determination to forge ahead. With this decree, Issa Chiruma Bakari is indirectly telling Yaounde that he is not backing down, telling Yaounde that it will not be business as usual, telling Paris that he is not ready to stay behind in the doldrums and in the museums of forgetfulness. Issa Chiruma Bakari is making clear that he is going to fight back, and fight back with some ferociousness that has not been seen just yet. If you know Alice Nkom, you will understand that this is a woman who doesn't back down. This is a woman who is not shy to pick up any kind of fight. Just for the little history, Alice Nkom is one lady who stood up at a time when everyone in Cameroon, I think even until this day, continue to say, we do not want to hear about gayness. I guess that you understand what I mean. The laws in Cameroon do not accept gay rights. They do not admit gay rights. But there were some two gentlemen who were arrested in Douala and dumped in jail because they expressed that they were gay, and they were openly gay. And everyone was running away, was shy of providing them any form of legal support. Alice Nkom decided to pick up the challenge. It was a very controversial moment. All sorts of things were said. All kinds of aspersions were cast on Alice Nkom. All kinds of, attacks were leveled on her, but Alice Nkom remained steadfast. And Alice Nkom created an NGO known as REDAC. REDAC is one of those structures that also worked seriously with respect to monitoring the last presidential election. We all know that at some point, Atanga Ponji decided that he was shutting down REDAC, and he claimed that REDAC was receiving a lot of funding from international bodies, and Atanga Ponji was even accusing REDAC of embezzlement of its own funds. And so he decided that he was shutting down REDAC, and actually caused the SDO, the senior divisional officer for the Vuri, to send a delegation to go seal the offices of REDAC. Alice Nkom stood up to that fight. I'm sure everyone knows. Alice Nkom stood up to that fight. She went herself to that office and took off the seals that were put on the door, scattered them, and got into her office. And of course, the senior divisional officer showed up and placed locks And this time warned if she went close, it was going to be hell. She was even summoned by the senior divisional officer. And Alincom was able to, all by herself, mobilize about all the young people in Douala. The entire city was about ready to accompany Alincom for her appointment with the senior divisional officer. But you know what happened? The senior divisional officer backed down on several accounts and adjourned that session until it finally never even took place. And Alincom had since then resumed operating her NGO known as REDAC. So therefore, the choice of Alincom is not by chance. The choice of Alincom should indicate to you that Issa Tchiroma Bakari has decided to go totally belligerent. And this tells you that the weeks and months ahead in Cameroon are going to be extremely interesting, are going to be really hot. Why you have seen on social media people publishing things like, oh, Issa Tchiroma Bakari is in Gambia, very sick, he's fighting between life and death. Right now, he's even tried to enter Senegal. They refused to take him in Senegal. He tried to go to Niger. Niger rejected him. He tried to go to this, to go to that. There's been no way. The Cameroon government has, in the meantime, been spending a lot of money lobbying regional powers to see if they could track down Issa Tchiroma Bakari for an arrest. They have spent a lot of money lobbying regional powers to see if they could help them even just arrest and detain Issa Tchiroma Bakari wherever he is to give them some kind of respite. That has not happened. The government of Cameroon, the government of Paul Biya, is reaching out to Western powers and making a lot of unimaginable proposals about deals here and there, just so in exchange they could help, begin to track down Issa Tchiroma Bakari. That too has not been working. Apparently, Issa Tchiroma Bakari too has a very, very, competent team that is out there leading serious diplomatic outreaches. And those diplomatic outreaches appear to be paying off. They appear to be paying off and paying off big time. I have quite some information at my possession here right now, but unfortunately, that's not information I can share just yet. But what I simply want to let you know is Yaounde is going to be in a lot of difficulties. Yaounde is going to face a lot of challenges. For one thing, you must have noticed Issa Tchiroma Bakari has surrounded himself with high-profile individuals. He is surrounding himself with the best, and he is continuing to broaden the circle, getting more and more, people with international reputation, with international connections around himself. This should indicate to Mr. Paul Biya that the days ahead will be extremely rough, very rough. Because you see, when you saw a gentleman like Eric Chinje with his international clout take off his time and he's been by Issa Tchiroma Bakari all this while, there are quite other names that have been given, of course, I've been told we don't have to, share that information just now, as Mr. Issa Tchiroma Bakari continues to roll out the appointment of his cabinet members. We'll be discovering some names that will shock a lot of people. You will know exactly how how well surrounded Issa Tchiroma Bakari is, and that should be a clear indication of the fact that this is not child's play. This is going to be a real moment where Mr. Paul Biya will get enough for what he has, been seeking all this while. Oh yes, I bet you it's going to be a very interesting moment. I am overwhelmed by what I have seen thus far. I'm overwhelmed by the wealth of information I've just received this far. But all the same, I must continue to strike the cautionary note. No matter how far he goes, Issa Tchiroma Bakari still requires the massive support of the people of the Republic of Cameroon. He still requires the massive support of the people of the Republic of Cameroon to make these ambitious steps, these ambitious initiatives that he is taking to work. But one thing is certain. One thing that is certain is that the people are fed up with the Biya system. Oh yes, the people are fed up with the Biya system. That much we can see everywhere. If you could see prelates, that is Reverend Sisters, reverend fathers, deacons, brothers, all of those assembled in their thousands at the St. Joseph's Cathedral. Earlier on, I made a mistake. I said St. Francis at the St. Joseph's Cathedral in Bamenda. If you could see that, I mean, those thousands of people openly boo the name Paul Biya, openly, grumble en masse at the mention of the name Paul Biya. It should tell you what dirty traps all those who are still loitering and tying themselves around Paul Biya are in. And I see they are there forging on, running around. They are going to organize something called regional elections on November 30. I wonder on what grounds they are really bothering themselves with all of those. Because to the best of my knowledge, that is another formality. Because that particular election had already been rigged well in advance when they refused to organize parliamentary and council elections before the presidential election, because the councillors that are going to be electing members of the regional assembly are councillors whose mandate had normally ended, and they just did an extension to avoid, because they were trying to run away from an opportunity for Maurice Kamto's party, the CRM, from getting councillors that would have qualified him automatically as a presidential candidate. And so by running away from that and deciding to go ahead and organize regional elections where they elect members of the regional assemblies with councillors whose mandates had expired, that is another step towards greater electoral banditry. And so this shows clearly that the Paul Biya system is refusing to learn very alarmingly. I think they will now notice that the silence of Mr. Issa Tchiroma Bakari did not mean he was not working. That the silence of Mr. Issa Tchiroma Bakari did not mean he had run short of ideas. That the silence of Mr. Issa Tchiroma Bakari and his team did not mean that he was surrendering. It simply meant he was strategizing. It simply meant he was putting in place approaches that would be used very efficiently to bring down the Biya system. And so right now, I'm convinced that even Atanga Ponji, who believes that he's very headstrong and who has been swearing everywhere that he will arrest, he will capture Issa Tchiroma Bakari, and he will deal with him squarely. And I suppose that Atanga Ponji should start worrying for his own safety. Because as a matter of fact, things are not going as they earlier planned. No, they are not going as planned. Things are taking another dimension. And this is going to be a very amazing moment. As I said earlier, as the news breaks, I will really be here all the time for us to make meaning of what is happening around us, to put everything in context so that together we will continue to flow with full knowledge, with a full understanding of exactly what is unfolding. And so regarding the interview that I was expected to have with Eric Chinje at 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which would have been 8 p.m. In Bamenda and in Kumba and Boya, that interview is still going to come, but it could come at a much later time during the day. If the schedule doesn't give way, then we could absolutely have to push it until tomorrow. But take note, as things are evolving, we are going to even have a lot more of information to share together during that conversation with Eric Chinje. So I want to take this opportunity to formally congratulate Alice Nkom on her appointment. And now to respond to my folks of the Southern Cameroons, because some have asked on this platform, you are getting too excited about this Issa Tchiroma Bakari GMA. I mean, what are we benefiting from there as Southern Cameroonians? Why don't we continue to focus on the Southern Cameroons? Don't forget, I have said here before, in Issa Tchiroma Bakari's business, we have our own business. Don't forget. I'm not going to elaborate very much, but don't think that I'm stupid. Don't think that any of us in the Southern Cameroons is stupid. We know what we want. We know exactly where we are headed. And trust me, every single moment you see me on this platform, know I'm here in the furtherance of that particular objective. It isn't today I started fighting for the interests of the Southern Cameroons. I started fighting for the interests of the Southern Cameroons while I was still in Yaounde, while I was still working at CRTV. So it is not within a wee second of some development that I'll suddenly forget that, oh, no, I'm supposed to be fighting for the Southern Cameroons. We know what we want. And if you recall what I've always said on this platform, that never settle for less than you deserve. Because anytime you settle for less than you deserve, you end up with less than you settled for. I said so. I mean it. And by my every action, you understand that I know exactly what I am doing and what I seek to attain as objective. In the meantime, let's keep following the news. Let's keep seeing how things are evolving. Keep subscribing. Keep encouraging others to subscribe to this platform. Keep sharing the link and make sure we continue to reach to as many people as we can with the correct information. Thank you very much. Until I catch up with you again here this day, have a nice time.